Joanna's ready in the back. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the work session for November 6th. Oh, excuse me. I'm at 6 o'clock on the 8th. Been out of routine here. 6 o'clock on the 8th. I call this work session to order. May I have roll call, please?
Mayor Orndorff.
Here.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sui.
Here.
Commissioner Watson. Commissioner Romanek.
Here.
Just stand for the salute to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being conducted in accordance to the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by statute. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of this meeting. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to this agenda?
No, Mayor.
Public comment on agenda items only. If anybody would like to address the commission, please come to the podium, state your name. Limit those comments to 5 minutes. Mr. Compari.
Thank you, guys. Ray Compari. There's several things on the regular agenda that I wanted to kind of give you some background and some context on, so you're aware and the public's aware of what we're doing here. So if you look at, on the regular agenda, ordinances on first reading, some background here. So there are two ordinances there on first reading that have to do with fee for service. And these ordinances come about through internal discussion. So on a regular basis, I meet with department heads and challenge them to look at fees for service, if we're charging now or not charging, and also look at fee for service as far as our competitors or our neighbors, Millville, Bridgeton, and Vineland. So you'll recall a recent conversation where we had a fee schedule put together for our rec fields. That came out of conversations I had with Sam to look at our fees, and we come up with a nice schedule. So a couple things here that came out of ongoing conversation with department heads about let's challenge, let's see if we can be competitive and fair with our pricing. So there are two on here. So the first one, if you look at the agenda, which is 19.4, that is a ordinance on first reading to change the alcohol and beverage control licensing for both bars and restaurants. I put in front of you this document. Let me give you some context real quickly if I can. The left-hand column shows what is currently charged in Millville, Vineland, and Bridgeton to have a liquor license and operate a bar, and then also what is required for a retail store. As you can see here, the state allows $2,500 maximum. We are obviously far below this max. Bridgeton is already maxed out. They did that back in 2017. You're allowed to escalate that fee annually by a percentage, but it can't max 20%. Vineland is moving along, accelerating 3% a year. We can go to 20% a year from where we are to reach our max of $2,500. I'm suggesting we move along at 10%. I think it's a little more fair. It's a little softer blow to all the license owners out there. So you can see here, if you use that 10% climb over the next several years, we'll get to those maxes in 2035 and 2037, quite a ways away. But I think that's fair and competitive, and I think it's a reasonable proposition for that one. So I wanted to explain that one. The second ordinance on first reading is 19.6. That is a ordinance to increase our copy fee for birth and marriage certificates from $15 to $20, a relatively small fee. And I give our clerk, Jeannie Parkinson, credit for bringing these two pieces forward and saying that we really should be looking at our fees and make them fair and equitable as with Bridgeton and Vineland. So thank you for doing that. So that gives you some background on what we're kind of adjusting our fees so they're fair and equal, okay? If you look under resolutions, I'll give you some background here. Resolutions 20.3 is a resolution to rescind a letter of support to a cannabis operation called Pot of Gold. As you guys have experienced, there's an ebb and flow. We give them out and we take them away. We're taking this one away because they couldn't acquire the land. It's as simple as that. But you're going to see later on, we're going to insert another one in there to get back to our 21. So that's simply a rescindment of a letter of support. A couple pages later, and I'm excited about this one. This is where we are introducing the UEZ loan program. So if you look at Resolution 20.15, there are 3 resolutions there. The first resolution adopts a policy and procedure manual for how we manage, allocate loans, and recall those loans as a process. So the policy and procedure manual I've been working on for several months. We've got it finished. I think you guys have a copy of it. That simply creates the structure and rules for our loan program. The next resolution, which is 20.16, is the application to the state to set aside, or allow us to set aside our $1 million loan pool. That's our application. That's taking first-generation money, setting it aside into a loan pool that we can then allocate to applicants. And then the third resolution, 20.17, that is establishing an interagency relationship between the City of Millville and the Cumberland Empowerment Zone Corporation, CEZC. The Empowerment Zone, what they're going to be doing for us is managing that pool of money, okay? My opinion, we don't have the resources internally to manage that. It takes a fair amount of time. That's everything from reviewing applications, working with the applicant, establishing the loan program, the pay cycle, chasing them down every single month for loan payments, looking at delinquent payments. It's quite a process. So the interagency between CEZ and us creates that management relationship. CEZ already manages the loan pool for Vineland and for Bridgeton. And I did some research. I looked around. I talked to 3 other vendors looking for someone else that could do that for us. I'm convinced they're probably the best partner for us. So that establishes that. So we're going to have the structure, the application for the funds, and who's going to manage our loan pool, okay? So that's the UEZ program. Quickly moving to 20.18, this is a designation to identify PD Millville redeveloper for a piece of property. That is a 43-acre lot out on Buckshootum Road. We subdivided on the west side of Buckshootum Road. It simply means that we've got some site plans and some projects or some project ideas where they're going to go, and they'll start working on their due diligence, contracting, et cetera, et cetera. The same thing for Resolution 20.19. That is for the 2 North High Street project as well, which is the old bank here on the corner. And from what we've seen from those guys, if they can turn their vision into reality, that's going to be a really cool building. So fingers crossed they're able to pull that one off. So that gives them that designation as well. And then finally, and I'll leave you alone, finally, the next page, 20.21, this is a resolution of support for another cannabis entity, AGJRA, coming in at 1300 Wheaton Avenue. They're going to take that spot opened up with a previous rescindment of Pot of Gold.
I thought it was 600 Wheaton Ave.
1300.
Yeah, it should be 1,300.
1300.
The other one left out of one place. This is just,
I don't have my email in front of me. The one that you sent me in the email, I thought it was 600.
I think the one on the
Wheaton
left was
Avenue?
at 600.
Yeah, this one is for 1,300.
1300.
Okay. I could have the wrong number in my
And
head.
they're-
That's fine. It's been a long day.
1300.
And Mayor, they're gonna be here at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, so they'll be able to represent themselves. So, anyway, I wanted to give you and everyone some background on all these resolutions and ordinances, how they came about. And let me just, again, I'm repeating, but I appreciate working with the department heads and looking at our fee structures and looking to make sure that we are capturing fees where relevant and where it's pertinent, because our fees, our cost of delivering services go up every single year. It costs more and more money for whatever it is. Copies and field maintenance and a variety of things, and we've never really taken the time, in my opinion, to look at moving those fees up accordingly without really causing a lot of harm in the community. So I think what we're proposing here tonight is very fair. So that's it.
Can I just ask a question for it says the First Amendment for the 2 North High Street. What's the amendment? We have the first one. Is it just extending, allowing them to do more research on the building and what they're able to do? I just want to understand the amendment to it.
We had a redevelopment agreement with them. They, after they purchased the bank building, they also purchased House Hardware.
Okay.
So that is going to include that. That's the main part of that amendment, to include that into that.
That's, okay, so Howe's location is also going to be part of that property. We're making
Yes.
sure we have a
Yes.
redevelopment plan for
Yeah,
both of those
fees
properties.
are gonna be consolidated.
Okay.
Yeah, it's-
They're gonna, okay, so they're, okay.
Yeah, 2 separate blocking lots now.
They're
but-
gonna
But the
be-
concept plan will be to fuse those things together.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Very good.
Thanks, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, back to, that. Okay, seeing nobody else, we can close the public comment portion on the agenda items only and go to discussion of commissioners. Commissioner Romanek?
Nothing at this time, Mayor. That is all.
Commissioner Hewitt, thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to jump over to an ordinance that we're going to be going through tonight. Just a heads up, if you remember last year, this is ordinance number 19.7. Ordinance amending Millville City Code, Chapter 17, Article 13, Bureau of Emergency Medical Services. Last year, we took care of the reimbursement for police and fire for different activities and such, if it's requested, if everybody remembers. And in New Jersey's, I guess, best way to put it, wisdom, for some reason, EMS is not considered to be an emergency first responder in the state of New Jersey. So they are not included in that ordinance. This is what this is doing, is including them at a price of $200 per hour. The way that breaks down, that pays for 2 EMTs at the $85 an hour that we did last year for police and fire, and $30 for the ambulance. So that's what that ordinance is about that we'll be voting on tonight on the first reading, in case anybody has any questions. And luckily, we've got Chief here too, so he can answer.
Yeah, and if I may add, it was done that way at the suggestion of our labor attorney, because we couldn't treat the EMS the same way we were
As police
treating
and fire, correct.
police and fire when they're asked to attend a private function. And then as a courtesy, we allow a standby service. That's what we're talking about.
And this is for an association that might want an ambulance there dedicated to them for whatever amount of hours. We will always be available for anybody in this town on a 911 call. But if they want it dedicated, this is cleaning, this is house cleaning. That's it.
Anything else?
That's all. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Commissioner Watts, Vice Mayor?
Yeah, if you guys would look at Resolution 2013, see a change order for $34,000 for Arawak paving. That was for Wade Boulevard. When they did the milling, there was some paving that should have been there that wasn't. So if they would have left it alone, the paving wouldn't have been thick enough to handle the truck traffic. So we authorized a change order to take care of that problem. Second, you guys have received the audit. Susan's here. The good news is, I asked you to explain anything they found wrong, but they didn't find anything wrong. So if anybody has any questions, she's here to answer them. I don't know if you guys have any questions, or you have something you want to present, you can do that as well, please.
Thank you. Nice and tiny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I just handed out copies of the best practices inventory. It's a requirement from all municipalities from the state of New Jersey every year. And basically what it is, it's the state of New Jersey kind of gauging exactly the compliance of each municipality. And the way they're able to ensure some compliance is to make sure that if you don't score a certain amount for the state, they can try to withhold state aid. City of Millville, we scored a 39.5, which is almost a perfect score. You have to have at least 29 or more to have no state aid withheld. So we're very well in that area. A lot of what they have here, some of it is unscored survey questions, and some of them are scored, and that would count. The unscored survey questions are very important because a lot of times they're trying to gauge what communities are tackling right now. There's a lot of questions about cybersecurity, lead abatement, electric vehicles, and hybrid vehicles. A lot of those questions, either in the next year or next few years, might turn into actual scored questions. So it's a good idea to review what they have questioned, to know exactly where we're in compliance, what the state wants to see, and what the state is probably going to want to see going forward. But like I said, a lot of what we have is good that we have so far, and review it. And a lot of it is really geared towards Like I said, the cybersecurity, electric vehicles, and the unscored survey questions had a lot to do with solid waste collection. With prices going up so high in the state, they're just trying to gauge exactly how everybody's handling it within their own communities. Lead remediation is a big thing statewide, so they're trying to make sure and see how everyone is dealing with that right now. If you have any other questions, let me know.
Just glad everybody's doing a great enough job that we can almost score perfectly, and as
Perfect,
well as
yeah.
our financial audit, everybody's doing a pretty good job with all that stuff, especially with all the bills and stuff to go through, and, you know, a lot of compliance factors to keep in mind when we're doing things.
Yes, exactly. Okay, thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have this time.
Thank you. Don't have anything at this time. No new business, correct?
No, Mayor.
Public comment portion, if anybody would like to come to the podium and address the commission, please come to the podium, state your name, your address, and your concerns. Please limit those comments to 5 minutes. Seeing nobody, will close the public comment portion for the work session. There's no resolutions, correct? Make
That's
sure I-
correct, Mayor.
Make sure. Any closing comments, the commissioners? Don't all jump at the same time. Okay. Just need a motion to adjourn the work session.
Make a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
See everybody